Hi, everyone. This is Jim Carpenter filling in for Rick Bailey today. So over the next 10 minutes, I'd like to walk you through one of my favorite planning tools, charitable strategies. As many as you know, that helps them to be able to reduce their taxes, be able to create income, and leave behind more for their families. I'd like to begin with telling you a story about Dave and Karen. There's a couple I worked with recently, and I had the privilege with talking with them about their ideas and concepts and their goals and things that they want to achieve. So, but they had three things going for them. They had a successful business that they were preparing to sell. They had several real estate holdings that had appreciated over the years and a desire to give back, especially to a nonprofit focused on children and education. But like most people, they thought they had to be simple. They thought it was just simple. They just thought they could just write a check or maybe just include a gift in their will or trust. But as we focused on their financials, I helped them see a bigger picture, that there was a smarter and there's actually more impactful ways to give using the assets that they had. And it included real estate, business interests, public traded stock, even intellectual property and life insurance. And the key was they didn't have to give up income to do it. And so we continue identifying all the assets that were available, that what caught their attention. A life insurance policy to create a legacy, the retirement plan as a tax advantage charitable gift, and even loans or notes or oil and gas royalties as futures giving vehicles. We explored what to give, but more importantly, we focused on how to give it because structuring is what really matters. And that's what led us to a much more powerful strategy of what we call direct gifts. So as at first, Dave and Karen, they thought they would just donate a portion of their appreciated stock directly to charity. But and that's a great starting point, is to be able to just transfer the asset, you get a charitable deduction, you avoid the capital gains tax, and you're able to support the cause. That's the whole point. But the problem is they needed income too. And they decided they did not want to reduce what they could pass to their kids. So that's when I introduced the idea of charitable remainder trust. But as a quick aside, I said I want to talk to you a couple about some other options as well, that didn't directly apply, to Dave and Karen. But so as a quick side, so if you're working with clients that are over age 70 and a half, one thing you don't want to overlook is the qualified charitable distribution. And it allows for people that they can give directly from an IRA up to $105,000 a year, and it counts toward their RMD, but it excluded from their income. And so they're able to distribute from their IRA, their IRA or from, and they're at least actually it's the minimum distribution is age 72 now, excuse that. But the maximum income of about $105,000 a year that they're able to distribute, they don't have to show it as income and they're able to fund directly to a charity or the charitable remainder trust. So this wasn't the right fit though for Dave and Karen, but for many retirees, it's one of the most tax efficient ways, to give. But what I want to talk about is way of leveraging the assets. I want to go back to Dave and Karen. Once we determined they didn't want to reduce their income, they couldn't afford to, or shortchange their kids, we talked about leverage, especially using the charitable remainder trust. They had property they had planned to sell, which would trigger a large capital gain. So here's what we did. We transferred the property into the charitable remainder trust. Because the charitable remainder trust is tax exempt, it is able to sell that property. Had it been like an apartment complex or something that they had depreciated, it also could avoid a possible recapture of depreciation. So then we're able to reinvest the assets inside the trust and produce an income stream to begin a steady income stream for the rest of their life. But here's where the leverage really kicks in. We used a portion of that new cash flow to fund $1 million life insurance policy in an irrevocable trust. The policy is now tax-free inheritance for their kids, especially replacing the value going to charity later. So in the end, they supported a cause they loved. They avoided a large tax bill, created the income that they need, and left a larger legacy to their family than they would have otherwise. And it all fit beautifully into their cash flow. And so many times, you're not only able to have the assets passed to the kids, from irrevocable life insurance trust, but many times we actually create income upon the parent's death that flows on, to the kids for the rest of their lives as well. So we're very, very creative in this type of planning. So that's the beauty of this kind of planning. So charitable strategies aren't about giving up something. They're about creating options and outcomes that wouldn't exist. It's about using what you have to do more than you ever thought was possible. So now in other situations, especially for clients who want simplicity, a charitable gift annuity can also be a great fit. So let's say a donate appreciates stock to a charity. And so they receive a charitable deduction and they receive income for life. The charity keeps what's left after they pass. This strategy, works really well for people who are charitably minded and want a guaranteed income stream. The charitable lead trust is another powerful tool, kind of mirroring the image of the CRT with the CLT. But now the charity gets the income and the remaining value returns to the family after often with reduced estate tax exposure. This is ideal for people who want, clients who want to support, their cause, immediate cash flow, and preserve the wealth for next generation in the long term. It also works well for people that have already sold an appreciated asset and they realize they're faced with a significant income tax bill. This is a way of creating a larger tax deduction to help offset against that appreciation. And this is with an asset they don't necessarily need income from, but just the tax savings is sufficient. And then to be able to have that asset returned to them at the years that they specify. And it's typically anywhere from 10 to 12 years, just depends on the calculations and how they work out. So then after the end, then the asset, passes back, to the family. So let me leave you with this thought. Dave and Karen's story started like most. They wanted to give, they didn't know how, and they assumed that their options were limited. After one conversation, we uncovered a strategy that solved a tax problem, created a lifetime income, and enhanced their legacy, both at charity and family. The opportunities are everywhere, but you have to be intentional and you have to ask the right questions. So I was going to give you 3 great conversation starters that you can have with your clients right now. If you could support a cause you love without changing your lifestyle, would you want to see how? Or another one is, which of your assets would be the smartest to give, not just the easiest? Or another one, what would it mean to your family if your giving could reduce taxes and increase what they receive? You may realize that there are opportunities sitting right in front of you, ones that could have easily been passed by. So let's not miss those. So take a moment and think about, who do you know that has an apartment complex that they would like to sell, but they just don't want to pay all the taxes, especially recapture taxes at full ordinary income rates? Has a stock portfolio that is at risk because of diversification. And they want to be able to diversify, but they don't want to be faced with paying the taxes and the cost. Build diversification. This is a great tool to help in that area. Property that was gifted to them many years ago. And it's just amazing how people have had properties been gifted them for years. And pretty soon the property becomes very valuable and they're faced with having to want to sell it. And the taxes are just amazingly expensive to sell. And so this is where an opportunity to be able to utilize that asset, or a business that they're preparing to sell to be able to enjoy their retirement. So these are just a few opportunities you can solve by utilizing strategies that I've shared. Feel free, to reach out to me if you have any questions or anything. I have my email on here, or you can go to our website, to me or to Rick, of course. And thank you for your time today. Remember, giving can give back. Let's help clients make the most of it. Have an amazing day.